Welcome to Verbal Pig Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. We're discussing the reason behind the hate, or the reason behind the hate against black people in particular. It stems from what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and Brother Farrakhan states that the black gene is dominant and the white gene is recessive. Dark eyes are dominant and light eyes are recessive. Now, this came up during the Charlottesville, Virginia protest, and a reporter was asking a white gentleman who is trying to replace you. And another white gentleman was there, and he echoed, who is trying to replace you? So the elder white man stated that to the younger white male, he said that you are. And he said, what? How am I trying to replace you? He said, because you're not having enough babies. You're not making babies anymore. And everyone was like, what? That's preposterous. That sounds crazy. But if you look at it, what the elder white male was stating, that they're being replaced genetically. And a report came out that more whites are dying than being born. And then they're upset with white women or interracial dating because they feel like that is deleting their genetics, their population. But what they fail to realize, that's not something that you can blame the whole black population on. One, there's a lot of black people, and as Umar Johnson stated, married, date, black. Black man, get you a black woman. Black woman, black man. Then you have those who, and as which a lot of celebrities and a lot of people in the entertainment field, music industry and whatnot, they'll marry a white woman for some social status or credit-wise, or they feel like they can get in the door, get a foot in the door. They have a white male or female on their side. But the ultimate blame is the Creator. You would have to blame the universe of God for that, because He created the original man and the original woman with melanin, which is found, a substance that's found throughout this universe, in the sun. And everything that's original, natural, has melanin. And then I want to state that the theory of blacks migrated from Africa to Europe, and 10,000 years in that cold climate, they begin to lose their melanin, which is not true. You can have plants, animals that been there for thousands of years. That means even the fish in the sea mean that every animal, every plant would be a loss of melanin and would be white. That's not true. You don't lose melanin. You can have a black man in the Antarctic, Alaska, the coldest place on earth, and melanin would not go anywhere, because melanin is a substance. It would not deteriorate. You know, the evidence of melanin would be present. So let's debunk that theory. That's out the window. But it's not, the hate that they have towards black people is not warranted, because you can't control what the Creator created. So trying to make black people feel bad about who they are, and that melanin, which is a gift from God, would never work. Because we were put here to have life, and life more abundantly. We wasn't put here to be ashamed of who we are or the gift of melanin. We should embrace and enjoy that gift, not hide it or feel ashamed by it because white supremacy don't like it, have a problem with it. And 9 times out of 10, it's that white female who goes out her way to attract or seek out a black male. Then you have the dynamic of the whites who saying that, yeah, we know that we're dying out, so to see the hereafter, we want to mate with someone black or melanin, whether it's black or brown, so we can continue on within the next life. So there is no solution to that problem because we have a right to exist. We have a right to be here. We have a right to enjoy the melanin, that the natural sun protector gift that was given to us from the Creator Himself, so we can walk in the sun. Now, whatever gripe you have, now we understand that it's not really towards us as a people. You're upset with something that you're lacking or you wasn't born with. And no one, that's just how the cookie crumbles. That's just how the dice was rolled. You know, you got to deal with it, get over it. But don't try to form organizations and groups to spread hate against a people who were granted a gift from the Creator, the one who created the sun, moon, the stars, the heaven, and the earth. You know, the plant life, animal life, food that sustain you. You can't get upset and turn your nose up at God as saying, why did you choose to give them the melanin and not us? And if you want to get in detail in that, you would have to study the works of Yaqub. You would have to study the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work on Yaqub, and also Brother Farrakhan when he breaks down the history, the story of Yaqub, and the grafting process which brought the Caucasians into being to rule for a period of time. And then you would have to understand that if you want to continue or delay the end, what must be done by the people that you enslaved and oppressed, because by doing that, it would let the world know that you have a sense of accountability, that you atone for your actions and deeds against the children that came forth from the Creator Himself. You can't be hard pressed to say I'm gonna defeat God and His prophecy, and I'm smart enough to pull that over on the Creator. It's impossible. It's not gonna happen. So the best thing that can be done is to atone. Find ways to where you can prove yourself worthy to be in agreement or in tune or in line with the future and things that is to come and that's taking place as we speak. But the hatred against a race who didn't have anything to do with how the universal God created them and placed in them and made them first. But then through Yaqub and that system of grafting allowed you to rule for a period of time so we can monitor your rulership, and that rule is stated has came to an end, and now you are being judged by your book of actions towards those original men and women who were placed in Africa or on this planet first. Come on, I mean, we have to deal. But don't, how can I say, don't get so angry and upset and come with a solution out of your own mindset into dealing with what you deem as a problem. Because you have a lot of black people who are trying to understand, who don't know where the anger and the hate came from. But as I stated in the beginning of this podcast, was that the guy simply explained it. He said that, hey, he told the other white gentleman that you're not having enough babies. We are depopulating. You know, we are becoming extinct. We are getting old and dying, and there's not enough youth to replace us. Now, this is not hate and hate speech, and no, we're dealing with mathematics and science intelligently to understand and to overcome years of a system of white supremacy who purposely tried to hold the black population back and pull the white population forward and try to outpopulate the black population. And by keeping the black population back, it would give their own a head start in their rulership. But how long did you think that plan would last? It wasn't deemed to last forever. So you need to come sit down at the table and see if you can atone to buy yourself some more time. If you hear the mercy of Brother Farrakhan, he's always saying that you can avert this. If the ball is in your court, you can delay it, you can prolong it, you can buy yourself some time. But it all depends on your mindset, your behavior, and your actions towards the original people of the planet Earth, in which God will judge you by the handling of His people. That's what this is all about. So hopefully, you all got a better understanding of the deep, integral meanings behind the hate, where the hate stems from. Because a lot of times, you know, black people trying to figure out, man, what did we do that would allow you to crush the head of a baby with the heel of your boots, or to cut out a baby out of a pregnant woman's stomach, or to tie one end of a black man to one horse, his right arm, tie his left arm and leg to the end of another horse and run him in the opposite direction, just split him in front of his family. What did we do to deserve the horrible treatment of slavery? Although we know it's always been indentured servants, that's been throughout time, and indentured servants would spend a time of 2 years. They work off a debt, they buy land, and then they grow. It was like an apprenticeship program, but not to the slavery. Or when you hear some whites defend it and they say, oh, it's always been slavery. No, not to that degree. There's been no recorded history in time to to another man or individual was treated that way by its captures or its servants. It was brutal what was done, and the rape that went place, and the stealing of land and the injustice, and then the Jim Crow, then the black codes, and then what's going on today with the police brutality. We're trying to say, man, where did that deep hatred come from when, while you were in the Caucasus Mountains in Europe, black people were building civilizations in the Nile, building Egypt, building up Africa. As I stated, the first university was in Timbuktu, so we wasn't over there bothering you. So what made you catch that degree of hatred from us when there was no, where there is nothing that we can recall in history to where we warranted such behavior? But I think the guy hit it on the head. The white guy, he was saying that when he says that we are being replaced, what he's saying is they're being outpopulated, and they don't have a logical answer for it. So the only answer that they came up with was hate. We'll apply a medication of hate to see if that'll heal the wound, when all it did was create further divide. It shouldn't have been two rational minds can sit down at a table, come up with a conclusion. But then the lies were spread, though, that black people by nature wasn't as smart, when that was debunked. And you had a black man in the White House as the president. Black people had a gene that made them lean towards violence. Found out that was a lie. Because all of the violence that whites had created upon their own kind and indigenous people of the earth, how can you look yourself in the mirror and say black people are prone to violence when every indigenous people had a war with the Europeans? So all the false narratives is starting to come to light, and now people want actual facts, or they want the mathematics and the science, or they want the facts behind what you say. They want the proof, show the proof. And there is none to the theories that they came up with. And so then when we start dispelling the myths, it became that's reverse racism. When we say, hey, we've been mistreated so bad, let's start a movement that says black lives do matter. And they say, hey, that's reverse racism. We say, well, let's go back and look at the ancient Egyptians, and we look at their features and the original paintings that were on the wall of Egypt, and say, hey, these were had Negroid features, these were black people, and they say that's reverse racism. We say, look at the Moors who come to Spain, Italy, traveled to Europe and taught or brought white people out of the dark ages into the light of knowledge, and we point that out, and they say that's reverse racism. And it's like, come on, after a while it's played out, and it's like, okay, we get it. What you're really saying is, no matter what, you will not agree with none of our accomplishments or nothing we did that people can hang their hat on or can hold themselves up high and say, hey, look at my accomplishments and my achievements. So what you're saying is, no matter what, and no matter how good the evidence is or how good the proof is, you can't go along with it. You have to disagree with it. You have to be a disagreeable, because you feel like that's protecting your race. You feel like you would be admitting defeat, and that would give black people a up or an edge in life, or it would speed the process up. If white people start accepting black people, that would be even more interracial relationships, more black babies, and it would eclipse the white population, like that moon eclipsed the sun and it just went dark. You taking that as a sign. Well, okay, but the fact still remains. Melanin is what melanin is. You can't run from it or hide. You have to deal with that. That's a fact. You know? So hopefully we can come together on meaning, let's put it like this. The door is open. The door is open. Brother Farrakhan already gave you a way out. Do right by the children of God, the original man and woman of the planet Earth, so your days may be long, or honor thy mother and father so your days may be longer on this earth. There is no way around it. You know, there's nothing it is what it is, as they say. Hopefully, this podcast helps. Hopefully, we can reach a decision dealing with this racial tension that's plaguing this country. As Brother Farrakhan stated, God put Trump in office, and Trump is doing his job. I mean, that era of arrogance, Trump is tearing that down. They're not even trying to be civilized. They just out in the streets with torches and fighting amongst themselves, and going at it. You know, hey, it is what it is. Verbal Pick Radio, we're out.